it's Kaipacha with the weekly Pele report for November 30th of 2022. Getting to the end of it here. We got Venus opposite Mars today as I'm speaking. Venus up there in Sagittarius. Mars retrograde in Gemini. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah. The moon is over there in Pisces, and she comes up to conjunct Jupiter and Neptune. Right? That's going to be tomorrow. And it's a very interesting week this is because even while she is conjoining with Jupiter and Neptune, Mercury is squaring Neptune exactly tomorrow, and then Venus traveling along with Mercury, okay, is coming into square Neptune on Saturday. And this is the day that Neptune is stationing still in the sky from our perspective, right? And going direct. It has been at the same degree. I don't know if I'm going to read the Sabian symbol for it, but it has been at the 23rd degree stationing in Pisces from October 29th. And now it stations direct, and it will be until January 9th that it leaves that degree. So that's kind of in the background, backdrop. Moon goes into Aries tomorrow, cruises along, trines the sun, and conjuncts Chiron. And we're going to have the sun conjunct Chiron on Saturday. Yeah? So these are the biggies that are happening. I mean, by Monday, Mercury squares Jupiter, okay? The moon goes into Taurus on Sunday. And finally, Mercury enters Capricorn next Tuesday. So, and then next Wednesday is the full moon. So we're going this week from the quarter moon today, okay, the moon in Pisces squaring the sun in Sag, first quarter moon, all the way to the full moon, where we're going to have a full moon in Gemini, okay, opposite the sun. So let me look at the camera and talk about it. All right, I'm gonna knock this sucker out. I mean, I'm having a Venus opposite Mars day. Oh my God. I went all the way out to the point, to do the Pele report. And I got out there and I realized that my phone is charging in the car. Oh my God. Like, the car is a long ways from here. Shit. And the moon, of course, this is a moon, Jupiter, Neptune, okay, in Pisces, which is chaos, confusion, disillusionment, in square, making it like a T square to this Venus, Mercury, opposite Mars, squaring Jupiter, Neptune. Ow! Whoa! Let's give a little context for this situation, right? I mean, we got Mars in Gemini for like 6-7 months. It's there like until March, right? And so it's doing its retrograde thing now. It only takes 2 years to go all the way around, so 6 months in one sign for Mars is a lot. Spending a lot of time in Gemini. And what is Gemini? Curiosity, the eternal youth, the mutable, adaptable, shape-shifting, variety is the spice of life. Do something different every day, if not every hour, every minute. Oh my God. So here's Mars. Okay, you know, Gemini rules, you know, the left brain, and Mercury, and social media, and writing, speaking, teaching, short journeys, traveling, and here's Mars going, Got to do this, got to do that. I'm over here, I'm over there. Oh, I promised that. Oops, I forgot. Oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm over there. I mean, oh my word. And then the sun, Venus, Mercury move into Sagittarius, the philosophical archer, seeking the grail and the meaning of life, the right brain intuition. And of course, she comes into this opposition with this masculine Mars energy in the sign of Gemini. And she calls him on his stuff. This is this opposition. Now, we all have a masculine and a feminine. We all have our own Venus and Mars. We all have Sagittarius and Gemini somewhere in our chart. You can look to your own chart to see where your receptive, feminine, while in Sagittarius, the wizened, honest, right, radical honesty, truth-seeking, feminine nature is right now, what house she's moving through, what aspects she may be making to other planets in your chart. And then you can see where Mars and where Gemini is. And this is your animal, vital, power, push, shove, charge, begin, warrior, Tarzan, boom, where this masculine energy is. Because now these two are polarized. And if that wasn't enough, and that's what the mantra is about today, it's like this Sun, Venus, Mercury moving through Sagittarius, natural law, the rocky shores, the mountaintop, the meditative, being, really in a place of intuitive downloads, receptive, and Mars wanting to be busy with the daily activities and excitement and pleasure and in the now. I always kind of look at Gemini as be here now, and Sagittarius is take the long view. What is really important to get you to your bullseye, archer, arrow to the bullseye, instead of studying everything, learning everything, doing everything, dissipating your energy, becoming distracted, or being tempted off into this little nook and cranny, or that relationship, or that, enterprise, or that business deal, or Gemini's just like got their fingers in 10 pies. Venus and Sag is saying, only focus on what is true and what will carry you through to your highest path. Now we put these in square to Jupiter and Neptune, and today the moon, and tomorrow, in Pisces, which has no laws, no rules, no boundaries, no ground, no earth, no fire. It is ether. It is nothingness. It is the void. It is emptiness that we fill with sometimes addictions, because the empty void is kind of uncomfortable for many, many of us. How many can sit still, like the mantra says, quiet the mind and enter the void? Very few. I'll tell you, I teach yoga and meditation. I know I've sat in circles and circles and circles and circles and circles, trying to get the mind to shut up. people go, oh yeah, meditate. How boring, right? I mean, you just sit there. Well, I'll tell you, yeah. All your thoughts come up, all your ego, all your fears, all your memories, all your fantasies, all your blah, blah, the mind, Gemini, Mars in Gemini just wants to rattle, 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 rattle. Blah, 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 blah. And Jupiter, Neptune, Pisces could rattle about anything and everything forever. This fantasy, this imagination, this plan, this illusion, this disappointment, this disillusion, this depression, this emptiness, and oh my God, it's the end of everything, and my ship is sinking, and my life is going nowhere, and I'm just absolutely, confused. I don't know what's up and what's down, and where I'm going, and who I am, and okay, right? You know what I'm talking about. Especially if you're Pisces, or what, Virgo, or Gemini, or Sag. This is the mutable cross. Yeah? Yeah. So, very, very interesting. In looking through all the Sabian symbols that I could read for you today, looking at the moon square the sun, looking at Neptune stationing direct at that 23rd degree, that's a good one for you to check out on your own. But of all of them, I chose Venus. Venus is moving faster than Mars. She's only coming into this opposition today, Wednesday. But it really sets the tone. Okay, Venus doesn't oppose Mars very often. I mean, because they both move relatively quickly, right? So anyway, she is at the 19th degree of Sagittarius. Mars is at the 19th degree of Gemini, retrograde. Of course, this is 18 degrees and any number of minutes up to 60. Is the 19th degree of a sign. Yeah. And it's so amazing because I'm laying here on the beach and what happens, man? A pelican flies right over my head. A singular pelican. A lot of times they're in flocks. But a pelican by himself came to visit me. So I said, I gotta read this. Pelicans, menaced by the behavior and refuse of men, seek safer areas for bringing up their young. The keynote is the need for people concerned with the future to discover a new way of living and more wholesome surroundings. Sagittarius, nature and natural law. But listen to the rest of this. And as I read it, I want you to remember this book was copyrighted in 1973. Elsie Wheeler and Mark Edmund Jones, who actually came through with the Sabian symbols, was back in the early 1900s. So, listen to this. This is such a trip, right? I mean, this is over 50 years ago. The evident reason for using pelicans at this stage of the process is that tradition tells us that these birds are so concerned with their young that they give their own blood and flesh to feed their progeny. Whether this is fact or symbol, the meaning of this picture refers to a situation that lately, like 1973, has acquired great urgency. Our technological society is polluting not only our global environment, but the mind and feeling responses of new generations as well. This is before video games. But the mind and feeling responses of new generations as well. The search for a new way of life is seen by many people to be imperative. In this sequence, we are told that the races, the survival of the human race has become a matter of extreme importance. Whole animal species may be destroyed by our civilization. Mankind itself is in danger. And here's what, this really tripped me out. Going to distant planets is hardly the answer. This is 1973. This is long before SpaceX, all right? Going to distant planets is hardly the answer. And here's a big one. A generation may have to sacrifice itself for the sake of its descendants. These words are very appropriate for right now, aren't they? Aren't they? They're burning down the Amazon forest, okay? The birth rate, speaking of infants and future generations, the birth rate is plummeting, okay? The death rate is rising. It's true. We are being culled. Yeah? The future of mankind is really very much at stake right now. The future generations, and even those that do survive, okay, what's coming up here for these next few years, are still going to have their minds and their emotions, their feeling responses and their thoughts so highly impacted by algorithms that are being written by, profiteering corporate monsters. So, yeah, it's important. I've been saying to get back to nature for many years, and I'm just going to keep on repeating that call, but particularly when the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, okay, are in Sagittarius. And I'll tell you, this is not so much a time to be talking about it. Mercury square Neptune is not the clearest time for communication. I want to suggest, like I do in the mantra, that this is an inward time, and that the quest of Sagittarius, okay, is really to reach an intuitive comprehension, and connect to the positive elements of Jupiter, Neptune. Not the chaos, not the addictions, okay, not the alcohol, drugs, and sex, and relationships, and movies, and books, and, everything that, can just like fill our emptiness. But no, to actually sit in the emptiness, to meditate, to draw in, to pray, to believe. I talked about, last week, Sagittarius, faith, hope, belief, love, in the subtle, invisible, spiritual realms. This week is more of it. Only the temptations and the distractions can be even stronger. If you reach a state of hopelessness or helplessness or despair or depression at the, because of the confusion that you really don't know where your life is going or where the future of humanity is headed, this is a very, this is our challenge as a generation. I want to encourage you. I've been really thinking about this. course, I have the South Node in Taurus, but this is about surrendering. Pisces, Jupiter, Neptune is surrender. Surrender what? I think so much of it is our comfort. Our comfort. It's time to be uncomfortable. And maybe speak things that are uncomfortable. Do things that are uncomfortable. Revolt or rebel or reject or call a lie, or challenge a mandate, or really step out of our passive comfort zone. As Neptune goes direct, Jupiter is already direct. Jupiter's going to enter Aries, baby. And even this week, the sun is trine Chiron in Aries, healing the wound of the warrior within. So I'm feeling like this is a time of preparation. I don't want to say for battle, but I want to say really time to receive the directions, receive the instructions from the divine intelligence, and they will be different for each one of us. But let's get ready to mobilize. 2023 is going to be a year where we will need to mobilize our forces. Yeah? So maybe tighten up your ship and get it ready to sail so that, when called upon, you are prepared. Yeah? So for now, the time, I feel like this week, rather than, staying busy and distracted and really take some time and effort. If I can, Freudian slip. All these reports, I'm talking to myself. Oh, God. If I can sit still and be quiet, I will hear guidance from on high and not be distracted or tempted to stray off the path I am on to the light. I like this one, man. Yeah? And maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I'll read it one more time. Ready? If I can sit still and be quiet, I will hear guidance from on high and not be distracted or tempted to stray off the path I am on to the light. Let us be Sagittarian trailblazers to the light, holding the torch that others may follow on the quest for the Grail, for the ultimate truths of existence. May you have a wonderful week. Namaste. Aloha. So much light.